Chapter 0, The Launch Party. I originally wrote this piece as the opening chapter for my memoirs. People kept telling me that I have great stories to tell, have had interesting, often hilarious life experiences, and should be writing everything down. So in the late 80s, I started doing just that. Calling this Chapter 0 is probably an overly negative assessment of my childhood. I didn't think that I had much to say about my life experience before I left the small Southern Baptist town of Chester, Virginia, at least that I couldn't fold into successive chapters. Somehow summarizing that childhood by writing a pre-chapter about the night before I left town seemed like the right note to sound, albeit a harsh one. I worked on successive chapters on and off for a few years before running out of steam for the project. Maybe one day. In 1993, when I saw Richard Linklater's Dazed and Confused, it almost spooked me how much that movie was my senior year of high school. I graduated in 1975, skipping the 11th grade. The movie takes place in 1976. Several of the male characters wear the exact shorts, shirts, pants, and a belt that I owned. The way they talked, the music they listened to, the cruising and boozing, it was all too familiar. The movie became seriously unnerving when they also drive to a hilltop overlooking town to party after graduation, as my story recounts. In truth, the hill outside of town, the highest point in Chester that I described, was more of a hump than a hill, and its attraction was not a commanding view of our little pokey town, but rather its seclusion and dramatic view of the sky, which is how it had gotten its reputation as a place to spot comets and UFOs, which somehow became eminently easier to see once we had all been suitably baked. I posted this piece on GarethBranlin.com years ago, but only ever shared the link with friends. This is the first time it's been published. Apologies to Carl and Weston, not their real names. Gareth wasn't my name at this point either, so we're all in disguise. Immersive media note. To get the most out of this essay, listen to Deep Purple's Made in Japan before, during, or after reading it. We have our heads poked into the Milky Way. Carl, Weston, and I have parked on something of a hill outside of town, the highest point in Chester. Yeah, that's right, Chester. Chester, Virginia, my home, at least for the next few hours. The hill, part of a long, exhausted tract of farmland, looks out over part of the town. Mostly it looks up into the sky. Sitting on the hood of Weston's forest green Galaxy 500, the night dominates. It's a surprisingly cool and still early summer night. The stars are in brilliant focus, the planets winking hints of color, the spiral arm of our parking spot in the Milky Way a spew of soft dust overhead. Billions of immense nuclear furnaces reduced to mood lighting at this distance. It's a magical night, the perfect stage for a grand exit. Mine. Weston has rummaged around beneath the front seat and produced a black vinyl zippered case. As he unzips it, Deep Purple's Made in Japan blares from the open doors of the car. Please, not smoke on the water again. I've lost track of how many times we've heard that fucking song tonight. Let's see, it was playing when Weston and Carl picked me up. It was playing as we ate our Friday night chickens. Every Friday night we go to the Safeway and each get a deli-cooked chicken. It was probably playing while we waited for over an hour at Skaggy's grocery before convincing some redneck to buy us an 8-pack of Miller. Ian Gillian's high-pitched wail on Child in Time reminds us that smoke will soon be here again. Inside Weston's zipper case is our coveted instrument of self-destruction, the super toker. Not the proletarian toker, not that gimmicky mini toker. This is the pinnacle of stoner technology, the super toker. Strapped down to the inside walls of the case, the super toker and its various tools and accessories look like a piece of serious labware, something to load up with the raw materials of the primordial ooze and zap them with jolts of electricity in an attempt to trigger primitive life. We're loading it up with something far less grandiose, but no less primordial. Round Town Brown, the only weed that ever seems to blow towards Chester. Smoke on the water, fire in the sky. We smoke ring our own fire into the sky as Deep Purple recounts for the umpteenth time tonight what happened while they were in Montreux. Something about a flare gun, Frank Zappa, and a big-ass fire is all I ever get from intense scrutiny of this song. I'm afraid. I'm filled with anticipation for the UFOs. Other friends claim they've seen them out here at the edge of town. It's that kind of night tonight where you half expect a whispery silver craft to glide out over the tree line and tattoo your face with radiation that you can show off to the local news team as evidence of your encounter. I want a visitation, an abduction. I need an abduction, a dramatic escape. If almond-headed fetal aliens don't do it, my parents will tomorrow morning in that embarrassing Nile barge they drive, the powder blue Buick Electra. Carl and Weston know I'm leaving tomorrow morning. My parents are driving me to a commune I want to visit, but they have no idea to what extent they have acted as propellant, or how far I hope that fuel that I've stored up will carry me. If all goes according to plan, I will never see this town nor Weston and Carl again. It does, and I don't. It's a disappearing act I've been rehearsing for years. In the top drawer of my desk at home are calendars for the last year and a half. Every day of every week of every month has a big X stabbed into it. Every night that I carve that X, a little piece of this town and these people wink out of existence. I went ahead and I X'd out today before I left. In my mind, I'm already gone. This night already a half-forgotten memory. I've read too many books about UFOs, every one in the tiny Chesterfield County Library. I vividly imagine the encounters as I've read about them, the scorched earth, the missing time, the cosmic sunburns. Some nights I wake up from sleep with dreams overlaying reality. I swear that I can see those penetrating alien eyes and bulbous gray heads outside my window. I'm often afraid to open my curtains, sure that I'll find an unearthly presence staring back at me. Sitting on Weston's hoods, constantly gurgling away at the water pipe to keep the Round Town Brown psycho active, I realize that I'm the fetal alien. I'm the monster I don't want to face in the black glass of my bedroom window. I've never been a part of this place or these people. It's not that I don't like Weston and Carl. We've spent most of our time together since elementary school. It's just that I've never felt like we were members of the same species, let alone the same community. Our friendship has been a placeholder for something not yet available to me, a convenience born of proximity. I've been a drag friend, someone who does a pretty good job of dressing up and play acting friend, but it's all surface. The really sad thing is that they've never noticed because surface is depth to them. They don't go any deeper than cruising and smoking and drinking and trying their best to get laid, which they're miserable at. Naive or not, I think I'm on to something, that I've been in training for a mission to save myself and rid the world of ignorance and mediocrity. My mission begins in a few hours. The constant ignition and ingestion of low-grade marijuana shake has given me a headache and second thoughts about my pending embarkation. I'm dreading the trip with my parents. I'm dreading the tedium of leaving. The option of UFO abduction seems more desirable at this point. But they'd want to take Carl and Weston too. How could I convince my spindly space buddies that I'm the only one they want to suck up into their big silver seed and silently zip off with, leaving these two hayseeds with nothing but an unbelievably tall tail that no one in Chester will buy? I think of those redneck fishermen in the South who claimed in one of my library books that they were taken up into a spacecraft and returned. Maybe they had a misfit buddy too, with delusions of grandeur, who convinced his space bros to take him and him alone, leaving the other guys to shit their overalls back in the bass boat. Weston rouses me from my staring contest with the high heavens. Let's go, I need to start the car before we drain the batteries. As I stuff myself into the back seat and we test the metal of Weston's shock absorbers on the hard, clotted earth of the field, space truckin' rumbles from the Galaxy speakers. The timing is not lost on me as we jet into the darkness down the pitch-black country road. I crane my head into the back window in one last vain hope that we're being tailed from above, and I won't be forced to take the long road on my journey. The Milky Way offers up nothing but silence and inexhaustible distance. Frank Zappa and the Mothers were at the best place around, till some stupid with a flare gun burned the place to the ground.